Yo, ladies and gentlemen, I hope every single one of you are doing well. We are back again for another disturbing Jay Slater video. Something interesting that I want to bring to your attention. Let's dive straight into this. Okay, cool. So I need you guys to stay right until the end because I'm going to prove once again that Masca story is literally made up. Off the back of yesterday's video, I want to start with this article right here, published by the Daily Mail. Now, this is in regards to Callum the Searcher. We watched his video in yesterday's video. He had an interview with Haley Comet. It's a pretty interesting video. Make sure you go and check that one out. This article, in fact, has been published by Nick Pisser. Now, Nick Pisser, I think that's how you pronounce his surname. He's the only journalist, in my opinion, who said it as it is. He looked at this story, didn't buy into it, didn't make sense to him, and he pushed that narrative of not being sure, not really buying into the stories that have been given by the friends because none of it made sense. He's the only one, in my opinion, that indirectly told the world that everything that we're being told here just seems like a load of garbage. And that's just my opinion. However, he's the one that published this story on the Daily Mail, and this is in regards to Callum pulling out of the search, claiming, and this is what the headlines are saying, claiming he had received no funds. So the headline reads, Jay Slater's family slammed TikTok sleuth who pulled out of the search after claiming he had received no funds. I think this story has been blown out of proportion, and I will tell you why. So it says here, Jay Slater's family have slammed TikTok sleuth who have pulled out of helping in the search after he claimed he had received no funds and paid for his trip himself. Now that right there can definitely be misconstrued because when he said pay for his trip himself, he's talking about the bus journey to the search points. He wasn't talking about the flights to Tenerife. In fact, he did say he was thankful for the family providing hotels and flights. But I think the main point that Callum was getting at was what was mentioned on the GoFundMe. And I will get to that in a second. It says here, the row started on Wednesday night when Debbie Duncan, 55, posted an update on the GoFundMe page set up for Jay, who has been missing since June the 17th in the mountains. In the statement, Debbie thanked Callum and TikTok climber Paul, aka DTR Down the Rapids, for their help and said they would be supporting them both, specifically paying for Callum's accommodation and essentials. So, and essentials at this point seems like it is something totally different. We're talking about maybe foods, travel money whilst there. On the GoFundMe, it does say accommodation and essentials. So they'll be paying for their accommodation and essentials. When you say essentials, what are you referring to? Because in regards to my bus journeys, I've had to pay for them. In regards to my food and my team's food, we've had to pay for that. So I just want clarity around what essentials you are paying for. And that's basically Callum's stance. Now, as far as I'm aware, before Callum done the video, and I've only seen a short clip of this video, he tried to reach out to the person he was in communication with in regards to not only the search areas, but also these essentials. And as we are already aware, throughout that process, there was miscommunication. So because of the miscommunication and the fact that Callum hasn't had any response in regards to the search areas or any clarity about the essentials that are being paid for by the Slaters or from the GoFundMe, it led to him making a lengthy rant on TikTok. And Callum said he had received no money from the GoFundMe page and then added that he paid for his own bus tickets to go to the search site at Masca each day. Now, based on what he said there, it's a fact. He paid for his own tickets and he hasn't received money from the GoFundMe because he received the money from Debbie. And that money that's on her bank statement that's been paid out to the likes of Callum or Down the Rapids or whoever else has been paid will then be chalked off from the GoFundMe. So that proportion that she's already paid out will then be paid to her from the GoFundMe. But technically, he hasn't been paid from the GoFundMe. He's been paid from Debbie. And that's what he knows. So at that point, he's got a right to question whether he's being paid from the GoFundMe. Either way, his accommodation and his hotel was paid for. He knows that. He confirmed it. He never said it wasn't. The only thing he was trying to confirm is what essentials was being paid for. So as it says here, he says, I can confirm that none of my essentials and none of my group's essentials have been paid. However, she did contribute towards a hotel and flight. So at this point, I don't think Callum is trying to make this look like something that it's not. I truly think he's just confused as to what's going on. And rightly so, because there was a lot of confusion, there was a lot of distractions, there was a lot of misdirection, there was a lot of misinformation. So he had a right to feel the way he felt about the GoFundMe and about what was being said on the GoFundMe. So again, that's what I think Callum wanted clarity on. What essentials are you paying for? Because essentials can mean so many different things. So I totally get his whole point. And where he's not getting any communication, according to himself, he felt the need to put out a video. After putting that video out, he was then later removed from the GoFundMe, and a statement was posted on Facebook by Debbie's friend. Debbie's friend. Oh yes, Debbie's friend, addressing the row and showing a £740 bank transfer to Callum. Now that makes things look real bad, doesn't it? Of course it makes things look real bad. But the good thing about what Callum said is that he confirms that his flights and his accommodation was paid for. Based on a time length that he had spent in Tenerife, £740 would make sense. But remember, Callum wants clarity on the essentials. What essentials are being covered? Are we talking about my food, my water? Are we talking about hiking boots and clothes that are needed for me to do my job in the mountains? Because these are things that could fall under essentials. He might need hiking boots. He might need ropes. He might need a ladder. He might need all of these different things. Are you covering all of that? Because as far as I know, all you've covered is the hotel and the flights. So again, his stance on all of this is bang on. You can't make Callum feel some type of way based on the questions that he has been asking. However, the statement that was put out by Debbie's friend, aka Rachel, I mean, it's a statement that makes me have to now question Rachel. Because I'm thinking, hold on, Callum, according to him, was trying to communicate with you. But not only has he tried to communicate with you, you have found to communicate with him and update Debbie and Warren on what he's been trying to communicate with you about. Now, days have dragged on. This person who is Callum becomes frustrated, feels like he's not getting no support and no response from the family, the people that he's there helping, and decides to make a video. Then Rachel comes along, making it look like, oh, I'm here for the family, and you know, this person is doing this online and they shouldn't be doing this because it's affecting the family. And hold on, what's affecting the family is the fact that you are trying to control everything. Listen to her statement. It says, hi, sorry again, people, but this is just not how this should be. But I need to put this out there. 2 buts in one sentence, make it make sense. We have someone claiming to not have had any support from Debbie, but that's not what they're claiming. That's not what they're claiming whatsoever. So you're making this look a certain way, aren't you? And are now talking about the family at a time like this, making all the speculation worse on social media. It's not fair why people are adding more stress to this devastating situation. No one knows how bad this is affecting everyone. It's cruel. Now, I agree with that last paragraph that she's put there, but the only reason why you find yourself writing this message is because of your own level of incompetence. The fact that you wasn't able to communicate with the people that you got involved, it led to this BS, making it look like Callum is doing something wrong when Callum hasn't done anything wrong. In fact, Callum's just tried to gain clarity on what's going on. Bearing in mind, he doesn't know the family. He's there searching, helping them, but he isn't getting the communication that he needs to continue to do his job effectively. And then Rachel finally responds with this message after leaving Callum in the dark for however many days, making it look like what Callum's doing is adding more stress to the family. And now you can tell this message was written by Rachel. When you go and look at the GoFundMe messages, however, they're definitely not written by Rachel. This message that was put on Facebook wasn't put on the GoFundMe, but Callum's name was removed from one of the GoFundMe messages. Now, a message that was put up on the 3rd of July on the GoFundMe page, this was published by Debbie Duncan. Now, we don't know if Debbie actually writ this. Someone could have been writing this on Debbie's behalf. We don't know. It definitely wasn't Rachel, though. There's something in this update that doesn't make any sense to me, and I want to quickly bring it to your attention. So firstly, it says, hi again, everyone. Your generosity has been vast, and we are so grateful for all of your support and kindness during this unimaginable time for our family. Absolutely. Now, this second paragraph makes me question things because it says, as I said in my official statement, the Spanish police conducted a land search for 12 days, which involved every resource they had available. We're talking about dogs, we're talking about drones, we're talking about choppers, we're talking about people, volunteers, we're talking about the whole shebang. And they searched for a whole 12 days. What never made sense to me is Brad had information that later allowed DTR and Chris Tenerife and these other people to search a different area, which eventually, you know, Chris Tenerife said he found the body in. Why wasn't that information used within that initial 12 days? Why was there no sighting, no scent, no evidence whatsoever within those 12 days using all of those resources to find the body? 12 days of a dead body decomposing in that area, and you're telling me there's no animals, no birds, no wildlife whatsoever alerting the Spanish police and all these volunteers and all these other people in this area that there's a dead body there, as well as all of the resources that they have. Drones, choppers, people, dogs. Really, really weird. But what's also weird, it says, although the land search ended, the Spanish police still continue with their investigations into why Jay had traveled to that location so far away from his accommodation. Now, that doesn't make any sense. Why would the Spanish police still continue with their investigation into why Jay traveled to that location on the 3rd of July if the two people he went to that accommodation with were deemed irrelevant within 24 hours? Make that make sense. He goes on to say, we offer our sincere thanks to the Spanish authorities who continue to follow lines of inquiries. So they're continuing to follow lines of inquiries on the 3rd of July, even though Isla confirms that Brad had information that led to DTR changing where he was searching. Brad had maps on the 29th of June, according to Rachel in Warren's video. Where they were searching in Warren's video was the same location that Callum brought to their attention days before they started searching there. And then whilst they're searching them on the 29th, you hear Rachel saying, oh, is this where they hold them? Is this where they keep them? And then ship them off. Now, quickly skipping back to what Rachel was saying in regards to Callum, the message that she put out there. She tried to make it look like that Callum was trying to take advantage, that Callum was lying. She said this, I just want to share this now because it's not true and it's not fair. You see how she's trying to plant that seeds? Not true, not fair, lying, deceitful stuff. Things that you are actually doing yourself. She goes on to say, GoFundMe wasn't paid. It was paid through Debbie herself. But he agreed for this to be added to the GoFundMe to show people who have kindly donated where and what the funds were being used on. Still has the right for uncertainty, especially with what was going on around that period of time. Bearing in mind, we're hearing this from a person that set up the 10K GoFundMe, closed it, and told all of her followers on Facebook that GoFundMe was fake. She says here, so this is just evidence on that the £740 was sent directly to them. Accommodation is essential and is classed as that. We asked also and thanked them, and we still thank you for all your help. So again, that's Rachel's way of responding to Callum, who she could have done this with via a message because he was asking clarity over what essentials were. But you said it here, that the accommodation was deemed as the essentials, even though the writing on the GoFundMe said accommodation and their essentials, meaning two totally different things. However, here we have Rachel making it look like something that it's not. Not Callum. Callum was genuine. Callum was on the grounds trying to do a job, trying to genuinely help a family find their missing boy. But the way it was twisted to make it look like Callum was the problem and not Rachel, clearly Rachel has been the problem. Now, what we're going to do now is take a closer look at Jay's pinged location. This is also going to prove that the Masca story is a lie. It's fake. Let's check this. All right, cool. So I want to start off by saying, have we ever seen the actual screenshots that Jay would have sent Lucy or Brad? However, this is what Lucy put in I Love Tenerife. Please, can anyone help me with where this location is? My friend was here at 8:50 this morning after a night out and his phone is dead. He's got no food or water and I'm extremely worried, blah, 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 blah. Now, if that was 8:50, it says Jay Slater updated 28 minutes ago. 8:50 minus 28 brings you to 8:21. Now, if we scroll down here, there's another screenshot right here. Bam, let's pause that. The person that's took this screenshot is clearly at Jay's location. And it says live location ended. last updated yesterday at 8:21. Even though we've spoken about these screenshots in the past, I just want to give more clarity on this. This is proving that Lucy or whoever, maybe Ayab as well, would have been in the mountains at 1:50 in the morning screaming JJ. So when Ayab said that they was in the mountains with Lucy, that has to be right. They were there. That's why they have this screenshot. 1:50 in the morning, Jay's phone last updated at 8:21. Now, this is extremely weird because the media told us at 2 o'clock in the morning, that same day, which would have been the 18th, 1:50 in the morning would have been the 18th, Debbie would have received that message to say she needs to fly to Tenerife because Jay's missing. Now, clearly, whoever's here at this time at 1:50 in the morning would have been communicating with Debbie, letting Debbie know that we can't find Jay. We're back here again at 1:50 in the morning and we're screaming his name, Jay, Jay. So what they're doing at this moment in time is they're really playing mind games with Debbie. This is them playing their role, making Debbie believe the narrative, getting Debbie to buy into what they're trying to sell her. Debbie, we're here again. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. We're screaming. We've been here all day searching. We can't find him, Debbie. That morning, she jumps on a plane and gets over there. Magically, she gets messaged by a troll saying that you're never going to see your son again because he owes me a lot of money. Look how quick that turnaround was. From 2 o'clock in the morning to 8, 9 o'clock in the morning when Debbie lands, I think it might even have been earlier than that. Within 10 minutes, she receives that message. So Ayab confirms that he was in the mountains screaming JJJ with Lucy. That definitely is this night. It only can tally up with this night because Ayab would have flew out hours later. Remember, Ayab told us, and it would have been at this time frame, it would have been at 12 o'clock. Remember, Ayab told us that he was having his meeting with the translator and the Guardia Civil or the police at midnight. Remember, he then said that he went back on the strip to link up with Brandon and Rocky again. Remember, back to this. This is Lucy. She was there 1:50 in the morning. It makes sense that they were probably contacting Debbie at that point to let her know that she needs to get over to Tenerife. Now, that's not even a big thing about this. The biggest thing about this that really blows this story wide open is Jay's last updated time. His last updated time was 8:21 in the morning. 8:21 in the morning, and his phone was already in the ravine. Chris Tenerife confirms his walk from the B&B up until the point of entrance where he believed Jay would have walked off road took him 30 minutes. He then added to get to Jay's phone ping location took him another 20 minutes. But that's 50 minutes that it took him to get from the Airbnb to where the phone last pinged. So how could the phone have pinged in that location at 8:21 in the morning if Jay didn't leave the Airbnb until 8 o'clock, even a little after 8 o'clock, because he had the interactions with Ophelia. And then Ophelia said she see him walking 15 minutes later confidently the wrong way. If it was 15 minutes later, that would have been around 18 minutes past 8. So how the hell did Jay get to this point of destination at 8:21? This is where we catch them in a lie, because Brad said he spoke to Jay at 8:30. Lucy says she spoke to Jay at 8:50. Well, if they would have spoke to Jay at the times they said they spoke to Jay, then his live location would have updated. And his live location would have updated and it would have been 8:50. It wouldn't have said 8:21. Now, the only way what they're saying is possible and his last update was at 8:21 is if Jay would have went into his phone and manually turned off his location. But tell me, why would someone who is lost in the mountains go into their phone and turn off their location? Why would someone who's at an Airbnb that doesn't want to be there, that wants to leave and go home, turn off their location? So I lean towards the battery dying. I lean towards the battery being dead, if anything, or someone turning off the phone. But if they turned off the phone or the battery died, it would have had to have taken place at 8:21, which means Brad couldn't have had the conversation with Jay at 8:30. Lucy couldn't have had the conversation with Jay at 8:50. Ladies and gentlemen, these guys have been making this up from the very, very beginning. And I feel sorry for both Debbie and Warren, because I feel, in my opinion, that they've both been played. People are right when they say Debbie knew on the 17th that Jay had gone missing because someone had contacted Debbie during the afternoon of the 17th to say that Jay had gone missing. but it doesn't make any sense at that point why they would say Jay had gone missing, because was he missing or was he lost? Or reality check, was he dead? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I need to know exactly what you are thinking after that one. Leave all your comments down below and be sure to hit the like button. If you are newly watching, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn your notification bells on so you don't miss out on future videos. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.